build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance.
Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty.
I'm Colin.
How's it going?
Still good? Aye, good. Just looking forward to getting this finished. Got to go and try and crack through Happy Valley.
Oh, you started watching it?
Started it, but we're done series 1 already. We're halfway through series 2, so we're rattling on. Good day Friday. We've got a few episodes done on Friday. Not any sense though. The busy day yesterday, obviously, and today. Don't just fucking sat down. I've been busy all day.
I've done fuck all today. Like I said to you before we started recording, a wee bit like conjunctivitis in my right eye. So, I've done much. Been sitting kind of, well, what are the eye getting? The antibiotic eye drops in it. So, anyway, that's nice thought for everybody.
Lovely.
Right, just we'll kick off. We beat Kilmarnock yesterday, 2-0, really routine win. We've just finished recording the match. If you want to hear our sort of views on the game itself, before we go into the talking points, we were in Tornadoes yesterday, Colin. So we did with the hospitality experience. So this was you'd won it through raffle with your daughter's football, was it?
That's right. Aye, I won that back in November. Yeah.
So that we can review it, but it wasn't like a freebie that the club had given us. So we can be completely impartial. We didn't have to say it was good if it wasn't.
Aye. We're not doing this for likes.
No, not doing it for likes. Just we thought it'd be worth covering because it's about 106, 170 quid, I think.
I think it's 175 maybe, something like that. Rings a bell.
That figure. So it's not the cheapest thing in the world. What did you think of the experience overall?
I enjoyed it. It's kind of it's the first time I've really done it. I've been hospitality at the women's game before, and I've done it at other things, but I've not. I think this is the first time I've done it at a HIbs game, and it kind of puts a different focus on the day, like the game. Like when I go to football, the whole focus is on the match and avoiding the traffic. Generally, right? That's my priorities for the day. But yesterday the match was almost just a thing that was happening round the boot. So it was a wee bit different for that point of view. I'm glad we won. I think it would have been shite if we got beat.
Aye, different experience if you get beat. We did get a question in asking if we were going to let that influence our view of the experience. We're going to say no. We won that, but we'll take that the game itself out of the equation.
Yeah. Aye, the game's just incidental, really. I find that's what I found, because I was in the Albion for opening 5 to 12 or something. It was 12 o'clock, and then you can go into the Tornadoes. It might be 1 o'clock, but they just let you in as soon as you want, really. And then you sit down. You get your glass of prosecco, and then we never had the drinks package, so we were just buying our drinks as we went.
That was quite well done, I thought, the way that they did that. So you're not having to worry about a bill building up or anything. They just come over with a wee card machine at
every time.
Each round, which is a good idea.
Yeah, you get match day host. The signed, her name was Carrie. She was really good. I'm sure the others were, but that was who we had. So
she was.
I well done to her. Chats with you and does all that stuff, makes you feel welcome, gets your drinks, get served pretty quickly, don't you? You don't need to leave your table. It's good. The food was good. Really good. It's a lot of money though. But if you're not doing it regularly, or if you're winning it, like at a raffle, it's well worth it. But it would be. I'm going to do it again though. So it's so if you're going to ask me the value for money question, then I'll pay for it at some point. Or I might pay for one of the other ones. Try the Edinburgh Club or the Pioneers.
Yeah.
Try one of them. Which are more expensive. Well, I think the Edinburgh Club's maybe not more expensive, but I think the Pioneers definitely is, because that's the fine dining four course thing. The Edinburgh Club's like a carvery, I think. But no, the Tornadoes is good. It
was good. We had the gammon, didn't we? And that was dead tasty. We never shared it. We had a plate each, just to be clear there. Half time, do we drink ready for you at half time as well? A cup of tea, a pie, and a caramel log.
Steak pie and a caramel log, aye.
Steak pie was quality as well.
Excellent. But I know that was all really good. The disappointing thing was I was looking at my watch going, second half must be about to start. And I said to one of it wasn't Carrie, it was one of the laddies that walked past that was doing the service as well. He says, "Do you tell us when the second half starting? I was like, nah, it's all right. So we were start moving then, and I was waiting on Carol, and you'd nipped up the stair, and fucking goal
We
was on the
scored.
big screen,
Aye.
and the whole, but the place was jammed still. The place was rammed, so it was fucking folks singing. Hail, hail, Hibs are here and that in the fucking in the thing, because like, but you couldn't, we never heard the roar or anything from there. There was just, it must be like soundproofed in some way somehow, because you can still, you get a drink in there at half time, so folk go down. I think some of the other suites you can't get a drink at half time because of where they are in proximity of the pitch or in view of the pitch and all that. So it was a wee bit disappointing I missed the goal. I thought they would tell you.
Aye, we bell or something like that.
It's
Like
a bit
just like
naive.
how we
Well, I bet like they change the players get it, like
Aye.
just like ring it up there and all. Well,
say
they do it
this.
at the theatre. You know what I mean? You'd be, if you were at the Playhouse and you're in the interval having a beer, they ring a bell and they tell you. So
come back in, aye.
Yeah.
Aye, that would have been good. That was probably the only thing, because I would have liked to have seen the start of the second half and no missed the goal. And I kind of take your own sort of personal responsibility for it. But actually, by the time you come down for the seats into the bar, but back to your seat, have your pie, your cup of coffee, your drink. I mean, 15 minutes isn't a long time to kind of put all that in, and you kind of didn't really clock how long it's taking you to get down for your
You
seat.
suggesting half time should be longer? Only when we're
there.
in the hospitality.
Yes,
aye.
yes.
So on those days, can we get a 30-minute half time? Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
Minimum 30 minutes.
Put that in the feedback form.
Aye. But not very good. I would recommend it. I can see why it's popular. Definitely.
It looks like there's folk that go there every week. Like they've got it's like seasonal. You think that is a fucking costly way to go to the football, but if you can afford that, then
aye, fair play.
Aye.
Right, let's get wired into the talking points. But well done, anyways. And as I don't suppose you'd be listening, but Carrie, thanks for looking after us as well. We got like you weren't they sitting with an empty glass at any point either. Like constantly, you all right for drinks, all right for drinks, and we were so good. Right, Ed Norval, first point, and I like this one, Colin. When I saw it come through, she's interested to hear a comparison between Kenna and Jeggo. Seen a lot of Hibs Twitter compliment and criticise comparable features of their game or similar features of their game. How could they look together?
Aye, I mean, so we're comparing them, and then so the comparison between them, and then how would they play together as well?
Aye.
Yeah. I suppose they could play together. We played two there yesterday. Egan Riley looks like a touch of class though. Like he looks like he'll play at a higher level at some point. So I guess there's room there for him, and I would imagine Kenna could probably learn for Jeggo. But you've got the old head and the young head there. It'd maybe be quite a good partnership from that point of view. Bring them on. In comparison, I think when both of them have played, like not at different times, obviously, right? Not they've played the same team. We've been a better team, and we've had a better run of results when we've had one of them in the team. And when we've had our shit results, we've had either no defensive midfielder or somebody to position there.
Aye.
But when we've had a defensive midfielder in the team, either Kenna at the start of the season and Jeggo now, that's when we went on these wee runs. So that comparison is quite similar. I think Kenna's maybe a bit more inexperienced. Jeggo does the simple things well. Kenna's got that wee bit to learn still, that he doesn't need to try and do everything. He also came in with a bit that Johnson said he's not very good at passing the ball, and folk are now criticising Jeggo for not being able to pass the ball, but maybe it's just a thing for that position, eh?
Well, I actually think Jeggo's passing's that bad. I came where it's come from. It's a funny thing. I watched him yesterday, and I didn't think didn't see too many passes going astray. So
I'm not sure what it is. I don't know, but folk have got that opinion. Like, so obviously they've seen something, but it's a strange one from my point of view. Like, because I just think he's come in and he's walked straight into the team and been a better team since he's come in.
Yeah, I think I like your point about the experience. I think you can tell Jeggo's been around a while and played at a good level in that position for a bit. He just seems to know where to be a bit better than Kenna does. And that's probably the difference.
Spot and danger, and I've seen this before, sort of style stuff.
But I'd love to see the two of them working together, and definitely I think Kenna could learn from him, and potentially, I suppose, go on to be a better player as a result. STG at HIbs Pessimist said first half in particular yesterday, We were not only successful, but a real joy to watch. Good passing moves, but real attacking intent compared to previously where we had passed the ball side to side with little obvious purpose, and I've sat bored. Kudos to LJ for this.
Yeah. Aye, we're definitely attacking. Creating chances. I can't remember what the stats were, but like the chances created or all these stats will go XG, it would be probably. Was quite high again yesterday. I just think we've got better decision making, like I was saying on the match, actually. Like, a couple of better decisions or quicker decisions, or better quality, and we would actually be scoring the goals. Because the
Aye.
XG was maybe 2 point something or nearly 3 yesterday. But if they'd maybe passed the ball quicker or
Better.
not,
Yeah.
it might
Earlier,
have been
better.
it might have been higher, you know. So, aye, I think it's promising. Just add a bit more quality in there, which we've got 2 coming back soon that are definitely better quality than some of the guys up there. Then I think we might start seeing better decisions and more goals.
Yeah. I think we have been entertaining for big parts of the season, even when the results weren't quite going our way. I think we've looked entertaining, and I definitely think it will be a feature of Johnson's teams that attacking's our priority.
Yeah.
And when we get the ball, we want to go forward. Definitely was evident yesterday, so a good point, SDG. Guinness 2022 said it surely is no coincidence in results following the impact of Jeggo has had since joining. Delighted to see an Aussie doing so well and hoping Graham Arnold is keeping an eye on his form. I'm sure Martin Boyle will let him know if not. I suppose we kind of covered that already, but you think the introduction of Jeggo has coincided? Has it coincidental that our results have improved, or is it because of his arrival that it's
I think
improved?
it's somewhere in the middle. Like we're consistency, selection, players in their actual position, players adding quality to their actual position, like by being in the right place at the right time, sniffing out danger and defending at the basics, doing the basics well. So it's not just because he's there, but it's added the solidity to the team that. But then also McGeady coming in and adding a bit of quality, or Nisbet when he was in,
Yeah,
adding the quality. You know, like so it's not just Jeggo. It's the combination of things, but he is one of the factors, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I think there's a number of things. So you look at the change in the defence. It has helped having players come back to fitness and available again. That's helped. And the new signings coming in like Jeggo has helped. Kenny Carruthers said that all the early season knockers are crawling back under their stones as we're starting to click good style. Josh Campbell, the perfect example. Lee Johnson, another example. GDTTH.
Aye, we've got a few hard games coming up though, so brace yourself.
I think that's it's a really good point that you make there. So obviously we want everybody to be happy and on board with what Hibs are doing because that means the team are doing well. We have been here before with the team, even this season. Do you know, like we went on a good run and we were predicting
Almost
great
the same
things.
run of fixtures.
Aye. Was it though? Because were these not the ones that we thought we would win but ended up losing?
No, we're coming into a Celtic game as one of them, and Celtic's coming up. So unless the order's changed a wee bit, maybe the order's changed a bit.
But so we know the potential is there for Arsenal to fall out the season. It does feel a bit different this time. I'm not sure if that's just I'm just getting carried away with
We'll
things.
see if we can beat Livingston. That'll be a big turning point because we often go there and make excuses for why we didn't.
Aye, well, the Livingston game becomes very important now in terms of how the season pans out.
Yeah.
But I think we would definitely look more potent. I think Johnson definitely deserves credit for it as well. George Stewart said, decent performance and a win. We've gone from basically no shots under Maloney through plenty of shots with few on target to now scoring goals. Could and should be more though. Shooting practice required to round off our progress nicely.
Yeah. Aye, I don't know. Aye, obviously shooting practice, but I think it's decision making maybe as well, and there were shots not taken that should have been taken, as well as passes not made that could have made an easier shot to be happening and that kind of stuff. But I suppose the more often you're in those positions, when they're sitting watching that this week, tomorrow, whenever it is to do the video bit, they'll be saying pass or shoot, and then next time they'll be thinking, that's probably just pointing out, guys, fucking look. You know what I mean? Or didn't be greedy, whatever one it is, because I think sometimes it's the like a wee bit looking for the glory. White line fever, they call it in rugby.
White line fever.
When it's like you see you've got the big chance, but it's like there's a better option here, and the best teams are the ones that pick the right choice. The better decision makers. That's why they're the better teams, and that's what I think we can add to it. It's because it was, as I say, I think Henderson got a shot away and the keeper saved it, a comfortable save, but he had a pass on that I think Yuan possible, but then he might have fucking dribbled it rather than shoot as well, because he also had a chance to shoot when he could have swung his left at it, but he didn't. He chose to dribble, and he got the cross back in for Henderson to get it knocked off the line when he connected. But I think the shot should have been taken in earlier, I think, and there was another one. It was a pass. I can't remember who it was, but there was a pass on and they took the shot on, possibly. I can't remember who that was.
Cadden had a chance as well, where the pass was put to him, he had to stop.
It was just behind him a wee bit.
If you play that into his path as he's running, he just gets a clean strike on it, and then there's more chance of scoring. Just I meant to pick up on the comment about Josh Campbell being an example of improvement. Campbell obviously got a new deal. This season, we talked about him after he got his hat trick against Aberdeen. Sean again yesterday, I thought he was all over the place, wasn't he? Like in a good way. Happy to see him get rewarded with the contract.
Aye, I think so. It's a 4 years he got an extra 4 in it. So I'm assuming that's with a view to selling him in 2 years if he carries on right at this rate, so that we're not losing out on I know folk will be annoyed at that, but they're also annoyed when we sell Porteous for free,
for cheap,
effectively in January, because but that's the whole plan. When you put Porteous on a 5-year deal, you put Campbell on a 4-year deal. It's to sell you to get value. So hopefully we see more improvement for him, because he's definitely, he must be most improved. I mean, he's probably player of the year so far this year, for us. It's just when you've got defensive midfielders in the team, and then you've got somebody like that can get up and down. I think it's he's a good player.
Big fan of Josh Campbell this season, and again, we've spoke about it long enough. The turnaround for last season's incredible, really. Charlie McGrew thinks he made that up. Said, would it be too much to ask for the crowd to simultaneously chant "Big Fish, Will Fish" in the box while doing the below arm movements when Will scores again? And it's like the dance. They can snap that for whatever. There could be YouTube clip there. Should we have a song for Will Fish?
Well, do that one. Get the Block 7 boys on it.
Right, Block 7.
Girls.
If you're listening, get on board with it. We want to see dance moves. We want to hear the song.
There's not many words, that one, right? So it should be an easy one for a football chant. It doesn't
easy one to remember.
Want too many words.
Charlie McGrew thinks he made that. Also said, I can't think of a single bad player performance since the Hearts game. And I think during that time we've only conceded one dodgy goal to Ross County. And Lee we trust, ? Is a director of football still top priority?
Because next time we lose a game, it'll fucking resurface, won't it? So, yes.
I thought it was a really good question. A really interesting one. Like, we insight into how football fans think, innit? Like that is we're fickle. Like football fans, more or less, always
fixate on stuff as well. Like, it's like always try to find the blame, the reason, and it could be a number of reasons. It could be a number of things. But recently, it's obviously been the director of football. One of which I wasn't. I think what I said about it. To be honest with you, we need the recruitment. I agreed wasn't good.
Yep.
And if director of football was going to be the solution to that, then fine. But I think Charlie's maybe reading between the lines there. But when we had a director of football in January, and the window seems to have been not too bad.
I think it's
well done, Ian Gordon.
Yeah. Charlie put a wee asterisk. He's bear in mind 2 of these games have pretty bad weather conditions as well. JPG White came back and said, ask the people who were shouting for one, the director of football, they're so ill-informed that the answer will be the opposite of what they say. And he also go on to say, like, would do well to make it work because it's not been a success in Scotland so far. But I would disagree with that. I think Hearts have got
No.
like a similar role. They're having, as we all know, according to the BBC and Sky Sports, now the best
I
ever
think
season for a football club
they're
outside of the Old Firm.
Miles' best third team, apparently. I think Levine was
third
saying
best team
earlier.
in Scotland, copyright Craig Levine.
Yeah.
They've got one. Celtic have won. Rangers, obviously, they had the big turnaround in fortune after getting the boy from Southampton.
Yeah.
On board. So I think there are examples of clubs getting it right. Queen's Park, I think at the lower level have that role in, and they seem to be doing good things as well. So
Well, they've got more money than everybody.
well, they have. I mean,
That's
obviously
always an easier
that
thing.
that makes a difference.
Mm.
I think for all the reasons we were saying that we needed a director of football when the run results were bad, they're still valid. It makes it an easier job if they come in when things are good, because they
The
don't
good
have
thing
to
is that they're now
revolutionise anything.
Kensal and that, and whoever else is involved, are under less pressure to rush the appointment because we've won a few games. If we'd kept losing, there would be folk marching on the ground, like, because that's the way it was building. Whereas that's went a wee bit quieter now because we're winning. But as soon as we lose a couple, and we've got three games coming up that are all losable. I think, is that what we're going to talk about in extra time? Like, what's
We're going
next?
to talk about whether or not we can get third. Really, is the extra time chat tonight.
So, so we're not in a relegation battle anymore, right? I think we're happy with that, and we're looking up the way. The director of football, or a role that does that job, whatever it is, because I think Kensal started talking about sporting directors, right? And I don't know what the difference is, but he seems to be calling it that.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, I think it's still needed, right? Because a lot of people wouldn't be happy if it was still Ian Gordon and Ben Kensal that were doing it. Especially, they won't be happy when we lose a couple of games again. Or don't sign another centre half in the next window again, whatever it is. So they need that bit directed football in, so that they can almost focus their anger on him or her when that happens.
Charlie's other point about can't think of a single bad player performance since the Hearts game. I would tend to agree with that. Actually, the Hearts game, we didn't really have too many bad performances either. Again, this will sound daft because we got scudded 3-0, but we played all right in that game. Really, do you know, like it wasn't like we weren't shite, which we sometimes are in derbies. Actually, it feels like we've turned a corner, and I don't know if again, this will maybe crop up more in the discussion in extra time, but that Lee Johnson sort of mentioning about having the smaller group to work with and the atmosphere. He said it's just something being able to sniff the difference, sniff like a winning mentality or that winning atmosphere. And he sort of referenced a couple of times that there was maybe some folk there who because they weren't happy at playing, that they were causing problems.
So it seems to be that you couldn't get the laddies in the training because there wasn't enough room in the changing rooms or in the pitches, right? Because the squad was too big and there was a load of players there that weren't playing, that weren't happy, that were creating difficulties, and there was no code of conduct to deal with them. That's what I took for the interviews that I heard this week. So he's managed to get rid of them all. Him and, I assume, Ian Gordon and Kensal, or whoever it is, the committee, whatever it is, is dealing with all. They now got rid of them all, and then he's just started playing players in their own position. A bit disappointed O'Connor and that didn't get on yesterday at any point because it felt comfortable for 60 minutes. Like Kilmarnock were never going to score, I don't think. And we never mentioned the match. Marshall made a good save, and I've been saying it before, like I've been kind of tongue-in-cheek a wee bit because I do like Marshall, but he doesn't make many saves. Well, he made one yesterday at 0-0.
He did. It was a good save, yeah, it was.
It wasn't. It was a save you would expect him to make. He's doing his job, like, to quote Roy Keane, but it was good. It was one that we might have seen go in the past. But if he let it in, you'd probably be moaning it was a shite goalkeeping. But it was important in the context of where we were at that moment. So thought we'd just try and be fair and balanced.
It does. Right, wee Joe Baker asked injuries. What has been causing so many of them this season? Is it training or lack of? The boots? Is it bad surfaces, bad luck? What do you fellas think?
I reckon, mate. Injured muscle ones are for a few hammies and that, Nisbet and McGeady, and they're boys that have been injured for a long time and they've come back. So you tend to find, I think, same with McGuinness, if you've been out for a long time when you come back and the intensity and that's when hammies and calves and groins and that seem to go a wee bit. So it could be just this long-term injuries coming back, and these are just some of the setbacks just so happen to oil them.
Aye, and the pitches are heavy this time of year as well. Like a lot of water on them. You see that the surface
There's
isn't
not
any
much
great.
grass. Like Easter Road's not great even.
Nah.
There's no loads of grass on it. So and patches, but aye, so it could be that. It could be that. But we're not the only team that's had injuries. Like
No.
As you probably heard, there's other teams that have had a few injuries, I think. But so I don't know if it's. I can't even remember what's wrong with Kukrevich.
He had. I can't remember seeing something with his knee.
Was that?
I can't remember. It's been that long, eh?
Whereas the other three have been hamstrings after long-term injuries. So.
Aye. It's been a terrible season for injuries. Like we've had the worst luck with it. And assuming it is, like, I mean, there is an element of bad luck because some of them have been impact injuries, like Boyles. Yeah. Boyles could have maybe been avoided, for example.
Boyles is a weird one. Like it's still to me, it's to have been injured and then for 4 weeks to 6 weeks pretend he was going to be all right for the World Cup to find out his fucking cruciate was away.
Aye,
I think that's so mad that nobody noticed. But I mean, that was unlucky. It was like a fucking. Was it one of your own players banged into the St Mirren boy who banged into Boyle?
It was Kenna. Kenna was fouled and good bundled into. It sort of fell on top of Boyle as a result. I think then we got a free kick for it. Aye. Yeah. It's an interesting one though because when you have so many injuries, you do have to kind of, I suppose, look to see whether there is a root cause and if there's a common denominator in them all. But I think, I mean, you mentioned like the hamstring ones, but a lot of the other injuries have been different. Like McGuinness was his groin, wasn't it?
But it's still a long-term injury coming back, and groins, hamstrings, calves are the ones I think that seem to be easy to pick up after a long-term out.
Rocky's injury was like an impact one as well, wasn't it? Like he challenged in the touchline in the derby, and
his knee just twisted like Boyles did. So that they're injuries that happen. It's just so that's the unlucky nature that one that happened and two that they all happened within the same few months.
Aye.
So I think there's a bit unlucky and there's a bit just stuff that happens.
It might be related to this, right? That when we were talking last night, we had, I think it was Vince Robinson. It was on Twitter Spaces, which you can get if you click on our Twitter profile. You can listen. It was a good episode. We only really had John, who's at Part-Time Fries, and Vince that were on to talk about the game. Vince mentioned about the athleticism and the increase in fitness and how we look stronger than other teams. It could be that the players are, because I think it happened to Bielsa's Leeds team, didn't it? Like when he first took over, that he was like, training was that intensive and it was like an upper level of what the players were used to. That there was loads of them were picking up muscular injuries because they were just getting pushed beyond what they were, what they were used to. I wonder if that's, I don't know, totally speculating and guessing if that could be related, because we definitely look like we run further and work harder, run faster than we have been previously. Definitely, from earlier in the season or the end of last season, we look like a different beast in that respect.
Aye, possibly. So, who knows? I don't know. It's I think it's just a mixture of everything. It's no one specific thing.
Yeah. Right, Davey Fallon's got 3 points here, right? So my 3 takeaways from yesterday's match. First, Porto, who thought Fish was imperious yesterday. His goal aside, he's really stepped up and taken responsibility, filling the void left by Porteous, but also his organising of the defence. He makes us better. Will Fish, your view on him, kind of, we spoke about him already in this one, or if it was just on the match where we're touching it. He's been cracking, isn't he?
Yeah. He just does the basics well, eh? That's the thing. It's folk will probably criticise him for saying he's just doing his job, because it's like quote Roy Keane, isn't it? And that's the, that's what he says on Sky. But it's like it's good having somebody just doing their job, eh?
Aye,
I like it. I've had enough fucking years to know people doing their job. So
Hanlon said a bit of praise for the way he's talking him through the game, and actually Jane, when we were sitting watching the game yesterday, Jane mentioned about how vocal the whole back four were, which hadn't really been evident earlier in the season. I think about that amount of communication, just like everybody sort of on point all the time with talking to each other. I think Fish looks like a player who has been on a better team's books. I think folk judged him prematurely, which we've spoken about before, and we're starting to see it. It's interesting you see him, and you mentioned Egan Riley as well as having that sort of touch of class about them. You'd expect that if they have any ambitions in making it at the levels that their parent clubs are at, then they have to shine in this league and in these opportunities when they're on loan. I think that's
Johnson
what they're starting
said
to do
in an interview this week, it might have been with one of the other podcasts, I can't remember who it probably was. It might have been the Ramble, I can't remember, but he said that Egan Riley's had a couple of £1 million bids in for him, and we've got him. And you could see he's got a bit about him, like, I think. And I can it's only a couple of games, and I don't want to judge him too early, but it definitely looks easy for him. And that's what I'm judging it on. Because if it looks easy, it's because he's making it look easy. Because we've seen other players in this team this season that haven't made it look easy.
Lots of them. Right, David will say that. Right, second point, a new Hoppe. McGeady going off was a concern. When Hoppe came on, he impressed with his movement and directness. He probably should have scored more, but looks a strong acquisition from the club.
Aye, decent. Surprised he got man of the match though. I think we mentioned that earlier. Because it really took his goal well. Didn't see it until this today, like, because even when they replayed it on the big screens, all you see was them putting it in. You didn't see what happened before it. So he looked decent.
He's got a good bit of running about him as well. He's very busy. I quite like that in a forward as well. So there's two types of forward that I like. I like the ones who are just in the right place at the right time. They didn't do too much, but they just fucking pop up and score. Kind of like your Riordan's.
Doesn't he do anything apart from score goals?
A lot of time for them. And then I also like the ones that are just like constantly on the go, just a nuisance. Like Grant Holt, like he would just be fucking busy. That type of player, and I like that about Hoppe, that he's busy. He wants to try and make things happen. And the third point for Davey was the CF dilemma. By the time the next game rocks around, we'll have Nisbet, Kuka, Ewan, and Hoppe all able to play centre forward. Who's the best front lineup you go with? For me, it's tough. Who are you picking?
It depends on the formation the team are playing, doesn't it? Because it was that 4-2-3-1 yesterday, which is obviously more midfielders supporting a striker, which would mean only one of them is playing.
Yeah.
In that case, you've got to say it's going to be Nisbet,
Nisbet would be the favourite for it. It's maybe does Johnson a favour having McGeady getting injured, because I mean, you can shunt Ewan out to that side.
You can, and then, but then, in the three, in the sort of left attacking midfield role, or whatever it's called, whatever the Championship manager's position is, and then you've got Campbell and Newell, the other two, possibly. In that three, with Nisbet up front. If you're assuming that Egan Riley and Jeggo are going to stay there in the two. Of course, the next argument we'll have is why are we playing two defensive midfielders against Kilmarnock at home, for example. Not didn't happen, but whoever it is next that we play Livingston, why are we playing two defensive midfielders against Livingston? Or can't remember, is it Rangers after that? I'm trying to think who we've got after.
Rangers and Celtic coming up, haven't we, after Livy? So those are the next two games.
So there's a reason then to play, I think, two defensive midfielders in all three of the games, because they're the kind of games where Egan Riley, Jeggo, and that Livingston game, because it'll be a battle. Much as they're maybe not a long ball team or that anymore. I think they try and play a bit of football in that, but it's a battle going through there, right? So let's just fucking make sure that we've got our battlers in the team,
I think what's good about that, the problem that Lee Johnson has with the centre forwards, or the benefit of that problem, is that they're all different strikers. Like we've had previously where you could take one striker out and replace him with another one, but it's just like this, like for like. Whereas you wouldn't say Ewan and Nisbet were the same. Nisbet's not the same as Kukarevic. He's not the same as Hoppe. They all bring something different to the table. So if one's struggling, you've got the ability to go and mix it up and try something different. Okay, Dave Graham said, is it a coincidence that the win came about when Lee Johnson wore a more suitable outfit? And also, what do we do about Jair?
I reckon Jair will go in the summer. I think he was one that probably wanted Driddy and didn't. I was a wee bit surprised they brought him on yesterday, actually.
He pretty much came on and got kicked there. That was like sort of his match yesterday. Come on, get booted.
Aye.
I
don't know why they brought him on, to be honest. They could have got the laddies on again. Some of that, Laidlaw wasn't on the bench yesterday, was he? But O'Connor was.
But I suppose and I spoke about this on Spaces last night. So Johnson came out and said Henderson had the opportunity to go out on loan in the January window. And Hibs were open to it, obviously, because I think they thought he's not going to impact too much. That seemed to be the criteria that Johnson put on it, was if you're not going to be impacting the first team, go out on loan. Henderson said he wanted to stay and fight for his place, and credit to Johnson, he's given him an opportunity. He's like, all right, fair enough, but if you're going to have to do it if we play you. I wonder if he's had a similar conversation with Tavares and said, well, all right, if you're not going to go out on loan, you stay here, we'll play you, but you're going to have to up your game. And I don't know whether a 10-minute or 15 minutes, whatever he got, cameo in that game was enough for him to do it. So we'll maybe see more of him. Be interested. If I was Lee Johnson, maybe be tempted to play him against Livingston and see the progress, because that was the game we really last saw Tavares in any
way back
for any meaningful length of time, because he got booted up and down in that game. Really struggled with the pace there, and Johnson was went, he's not ready, out of the team.
Yeah.
So if he's ready to start impacting the first team, that might be one to just kind of go and see that, like, have you progressed? And here's a chance to demonstrate it. Johnson's outfits, Dave likes commenting on all this kind of thing, which I've seen how Dave dresses, and I think why he thinks he's.
That's a strange thing,
why he's so confident in slaughtering everybody else, but fair play to him, he's brave enough to do it.
I quite liked his blue shirt we had on in the post-match interview. I quite like a nice blue formal shirt like that.
He's meticulous as turned out a lot of the time, Johnson, isn't it? I mean, it's one thing you would have to say to him, like his hair's always where it should be, his beard's nicely trimmed.
Exactly. I didn't even mind that jacket that he gets slagged about. I'm not a big fan of the black trainers with the white rim.
Nah, they're popular now, aren't they?
Aye, because they're a brand, they're like fucking 300 quid a pair. I can't mind the brand, but so Jimmy Redknapp and that with him, he'd never Skechers, so.
Did you see, take off top about I forgot the boy's name, well, Match of the Day, the pundit on Match of the Day that's no Alan Shearer, Micah Richards, the story in the paper, it's his haircut every other day for 200 quid a time.
Aye.
Fucking 200 quid a time. See, if you're his barber, you're not bothering working. I wouldn't bother with any other clients. Just fucking, that's fine. I'll do your hair. How long you want it done for?
600 quid a week.
600 quid a week.
How can you even? How much money did he make?
He must have made plenty. He'll still be making plenty on on Match of Days on Sky and that as well. He'll still be.
Aye, but it's no the wages he was earning as a player though. That's now just ticking him over, topping the pension up. Whereas that money made as a player will be covering. Fucking hell, man. That's mental. He's got a set of clippers,
Aye. It's quite a rad haircut he's got as well.
Aye. That's mad.
Aye. Anyway, I don't think Lee Johnson's spending 200 quid every couple of days in his haircut, but he's definitely gone regularly.
I think he goes to get the beard done every week.
Aye. That definitely looks like it's getting a bit of attention. Like Jeff Ashton said, how Hibs is it that the first contentious VAR decision we get, we don't need it, and we actually boo the decision? I can't mind hearing anybody booing the decision. You kind of when the red came in, out of the way, but
no need, but
it is sod's law that's the one that we get. No when it matters. Like you're not going to get a fucking handball in a derby, need a penalty, nothing like that. That'll not happen for us. But
it never feels like that.
A debatable red card
because what happens at the end of the season. That's what happened at the end of the season. I say, well, you got that one, and you got that goal at Ross County, and that's evened out over the season. That's the shite they come out with. It's the same way. Mind when all the goals were going in against Hearts that were over the line that they wouldn't give us, and then the one that they say, well, Paul Hanlon scored against Dunfermline in that sort of relegation game.
Aye, it was 3-0.
And you're like, it was 3-0 up, mate. Like it doesn't count. Like it wasn't 0-0 that fucking won us the game. Like Aye, it's very, very frustrating that we can't
Aye.
get decisions when they matter.
Just
And it made
typical.
no odds anyway. It was fuck all. Didn't they need it?
What about Derek McKenzie? I'm pretty sure I'm sick and
Aye.
tired of these, or they're doing my head in. These VAR guys are
These bad
doing my
guys.
head in.
Aye. I don't know what else they've had against them. Like I've actually downloaded. I've listened to the first 15 minutes. They must have had on Sports Sound yesterday. Hugh Dallas was on talking about it. So they got a
Was he?
referee on, but he's not linked to the Scottish one because the guy Crawford Allen
Aye.
couldn't go on Radio Scotland. Obviously something else to do. And but they got Hugh Dallas on. He works in Turkey in the refereeing thing over there. So they were talking about VAR, but at the start, he obviously started defending them,
Aye.
because that's what they do. It's like the referees always just defend it. However, he did say that the first one, that Michael Smith one, Hearts Celtic, that was a handball.
Aye.
He says, but the only that you can say, well, it was the first week yet. So because it's the first week yet, they forgot the rules.
Aye.
Like,
Doesn't make any sense, does it?
the rules are still the rules,
Aye.
Like, just because you can see it on the telly now, doesn't make the rule different. It's a wee bit strange. Same with the Ross County one, and same with even yesterday's one. You could say, what made Beaton change that to a red card?
Aye.
Like, other than the guy going, mate, send him off in the telly, because he then went and looked at it, and he must have looked at it and thought, I'm not happy with my yellow. But he's thinking, they've telling me it's red.
Aye. I like
Weird.
the new gestures they've got for VAR, obviously the screen one, but now if they're upgrading it, they pull out the old card and they go, no. And
Aye.
that's going away. Here's a new card, dickhead.
Because at first I thought, he's just rescinding it.
Aye. Oh no. Yes, boy, he was rescinding it, but that was to give him an upgrade.
Aye. But I thought he was just going to rescind it altogether. And I thought that means he's fucking right, because you'd said it's not even a yellow. And I'm like, I can see why it is.
Aye.
I don't know, like that. We keep blaming VAR. It's no the TV camera's fault. It's the people, the referees, who are referees
100%.
that don't know the fucking rules. And then they're coming out saying, pundits and moaning about it, they don't know the rules. All right. But what didn't the fans do? And that's probably right. They do know the rules, and we don't. But then they don't apply them the same every week.
Aye, they make up as they go along.
Which is possibly the way the rules are written.
On the subject of sort of sports sound, sports scene, I mentioned them. They were blaming Chabraya for the red card for being the one that went into the tackle with his head.
On the telly?
Aye.
I watched that.
If anything, it's Chabraya that's put the force, put him in. Derek McInnes did it as well.
Take it that way.
The way he was saying it, he says it's the Birmingham player that's gone into the challenge, isn't he? Force for Vassell.
And that's right. I agree with that. Aye. There wasn't. But Chabraya is allowed to go for the ball, but then he's got incapable. If you're putting your head in danger, then like.
Aye. He should be able to head that ball with a foot being there. That's the argument, wasn't
it?
But
the foot was there and he put his head there. There wasn't the other way around. That's their argument. And I don't think they're blaming Chabraya. I think you've taken that out of context completely.
Anyway, right. Jackie Cochran says, aye, they were. So she disagrees with you as well, right?
I do believe that.
Fair play. That's what she said. First tweet opens up with, aye, they were. Because I said, I think sports team were giving Chabraya the blame for getting a boot to the head for Kelly's red card, right? She says, aye, they were. And then in brackets, Colin's fucking talking shite in the future. And close brackets.
Good prediction.
Also, when we get beat, they comment a couple of things about us and concentrate on talking about our opposition. When we win, e.g. Trounce Aberdeen, they still talk more about the opposition's play rather than comment on us. Last night was the same.
I think we get ourselves a bit oversensitive with punditry. I mean, I do moan about them, and I think the pundits are shit. But I think I didn't take that reading on it at all about Chabraya, and I didn't think they didn't say we were that good either. I get, and I kind of understand why they spoke about Aberdeen, because they said good one. By the way, we never mentioned that, about the good one.
Aye, like he checked his phone and he was in the middle of hospitality. It comes up on the screen.
Tornadoes in the Aberdeen game. Fuck me.
He's surrounded by Hibs.
Marched over the pitch there then, eh?
Aye, surrounded by Hibs fans. It comes up on the screen. He looks at his phone and sees the news that he's been emptied, and then just gets the fuck out of there. JPJ White says some people are needing to think about never giving their opinion on football again. The clamour to sack Lee was nothing short of moronic. If they had won the day, it would have been disaster for Hibs. I really wish they would stay away from the ground, if I'm being honest.
We were coming towards that decision, though, weren't we, as well? So we can't really criticise it. We had those conversations, and I don't know what we'd actually decided and leaned on, but we were a wee bit like, what's the difference with this and Maloney? But then it's that equivalence. Like I thought Maloney got sacked early as well. I was surprised when he got sacked. But so just because, and I'm not saying it wasn't the right decision either now, hindsight, but we just went, well, Johnson's record's not any better than Maloney's, so why is he not getting sacked? And maybe the club have shown strong leadership
I think we
by not sacking him.
we also said that. We also think we spent quite a bit of time discussing, is there actually a benefit in? I can't remember who was it sent in. It was like, here's like a breakdown of like of the years when we've changed managers, and we've had no benefit for it really. In fact, we've regressed. And I think we talked about kind of as an argument for sticking with Johnson, and I think I might misremember because we record a lot of episodes, but I think sort of at Christmas time round about that, when we were looking at, we thought what might happen would be the two derbies would be make or break for him. And as it happened, he lost both of those, but because he won the games in between, he got more time. But I think we spoke about the board giving him more time and whether that might be the right thing to do, and that they should come out and say it. I think we said as well is that like we're just sticking by him, so folk can get behind it. I don't think I don't think it's right that you slaughter Hibs fans or football fans in general for having opinions that later turn out to be maybe not the best, because we'll all get caught up in emotion. I said this before, like we try to be balanced on this as much as we can, right? But we also try to be honest with what we're thinking. And we're quite happy to admit like our opinions will be shite, and people have different opinions, and it's all right. We never ever pretend that we're right. We just say what we think. And I think football is an emotive game. Folk get wound up in it, they have opinions, they'll see it a certain way, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. They're not the ones running the club. Are making the decisions on whether a manager stays or goes. So it's just one of these things. I think sometimes we could all be being a bit more patient, for sure. Right, Jeff Ashton says, man of the match, Hoppy played well, but for me, Josh Campbell was immense yesterday, followed closely by Big Fish, and CJ was tidy too. Who would you pick out for your man of the match?
I thought the laddie, Egan Riley, looked class, but I like Jeggo as well. Just sweeping up shite. Fish as well. The three of them, I thought, any one of those three probably.
Aye, I thought Fish for me. I think he just absolutely strolled the game. Brunswick Bill, Longbangers' only way for Colin to overcome his noisy eating phobia is to confront it. Can I suggest for the next live gig, we have a mass noisy eating of crisps, a scrunching of bags and smacking their lips, followed by a long communal, that should cure him.
Yeah, could try that. Or we could just say fucking no noise eating,
But either.
We could ban the noise eating rather than confront it, just not have any.
Ryan Lyle said, Fish man of the match strolled it again. Strolled it. Him and Hamlin solid. Jeggo is a big player in the role he plays, allows others to play protecting the centre halves. Henderson needs to back up his performance yesterday. Done very well. Build on that now. Only downside is not scoring more. Jamie Robertson said, recruitment team deserves some credit for getting in 4 good players on loan. Thought the 4 of them were our best players yesterday.
Who's that? Egan Riley,
Fish, Hopper, and
who's the other one that's on loan?
Let me just run through the team, because it was Hoppy that got forgotten about earlier on. So Fish, Egan Riley, Yuan's still on loan, isn't he?
Oh right, aye, okay.
Aye, you forget about that because we've got the option. Option to buy. I think the recruitment, for all it was slaughtered in the summer, it looks like some of the players that were written off aren't as bad as everybody made it, and it looks like the January recruitment's been decent so far. But we're only in February, so we need to have that conversation end in March into April.
And we've not lost a game yet, so once we lose a game, that's when we find out who folk didn't like.
Aye. Charlie says, how good is Jimmy Jeggo? Covered Jimmy, sorry. Paul Mackay says, Ewan Henderson looks a different player. What do you think changed for him? Was it being told you can maybe leave, or just a confidence thing? Will McCurdy, when fit, struggled to get a game? For Hoppy is here as he looked more direct and bigger. So you and Henderson was sort of mentioned him already with how Johnson had managed him. McCurdy, think Hoppy's pushed him down the pecking order, or do you think they'll play him in a different position?
What position? No, he's down order.
All right.
Yep.
Fair dues. St Christopher says, what was going on with offside calls this season? Yesterday it seemed our player who may be offside is allowed to take the ball, but the flag goes up when they pass a player onside. There was one in particular yesterday. I think it was Yuan that had collected it, might have been Campbell. Had kept a hold of the ball, laid it back to somebody who's about to take a shot, and then the flag went up. And you're like, what was the point in that? It just, I totally agree, Christopher. It's a bit of a bonkers one.
It's dangerous actually as well sometimes because the flag obviously goes up not late, right? Because they're waiting to see if anything comes out and all that.
Aye.
But while that's happening, like players can get injured and I get it, like because then if you call it offside, they want to wait till the TV decide if it's onside or offside and all of that, so they don't want to call it and get goalies and that putting their hands up saying we blew the whistle and all of that. But when they're so obviously offside, and there's some of them times it is, everybody knows it's offside.
Aye.
Like, everybody. And they play on. And in that, while that's playing on, there's like players got to slide in, dive in, hurt them.
Yeah.
It just seems a bit daft. But then, where'd you draw the line, eh? What's obvious to you? No, it was obvious to everybody, yeah.
And sometimes an obvious one, when you see it back, you go, actually, by the way.
It's a lot closer. Aye.
And I totally get it. I quite like the idea of letting the play develop, and if it goes, if it's a goal, and that goal would have been wrongly chopped off, then let it play out and give the goal. TG Willis said, thought Hendo had his best half so far, but which half? I said top half.
Bottom half. His top half's not great, eh?
Well, it's improving though, but okay. Part Fry's image said, how much of the next 6 weeks is simply about concentrating on the next game and letting the league take care of itself? Great point. I think
what was the point again?
Just basically let's not get ahead of ourselves as we've done before. But that kind of the old cliche about taking one game each game as it comes.
One game at a time.
One game at a time. So let's deal with Livingston and then see what the situations like that. Spot on. Last couple, Leon said, we've looked excellent defensively since Porteous left and Rocky got injured. Is Will Fish worth trying to get in permanently in the summer?
Possibly. He's been impressive. It's only been a few weeks, so.
Aye.
So we'll see. I mean, I still can't get that image of that fucking no shadowing about it. Like, and if he's got that in him, like, hopefully he's learned, and I'm willing to forgive him, like I said last week on it. However, it was fucking appallingly bad, like amateur stuff. And that's offensive to amateur players because they would know how to do that. So
I would based on what we've seen in the last few weeks, Leon, I would be trying to sign him, but I think he might end up
on big money though. Bet he's on big money at Man United.
Yeah, out of our price range, I think. 150k at Hamlin Hill. Is LJ the first manager you've seen that's been allowed to work through a long losing streak, not getting punted and come out the other side? With a wee asterisk saying as it currently appears.
Well, in recent times, certainly, aye.
I think you have to go back to Alec Miller, probably.
That's what I was thinking. I kind of think, since then. And did he even come out the other side, really? Because folks still,
Aye. That's an interesting approach. I hope Hibs kind of stick with that kind of thing. I know folk will get carried away and want the call for the managers to get sacked when things start turning sour, but there is an argument to be made for sticking by folk, and yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Won't know if that was the right decision until probably the split. Where we end up in the split, if we're top six, we'll probably say it was the right thing to do. If we're bottom six, we'll moan about it.
Oh, I think we're going to be top six now. I think that's like we need to stop looking down.
Think?
Aye.
Okay. William Turner said, could have been another high scoring win with the saves made by their keeper and Yuan deciding not to pass on a few occasions and put folk in. With a few back quicker than expected, we could have a very strong finish now. Will we catch them? But we're just about to talk about that in the extra time, William, so tune in there. Neil Renton, if that was Porto, he would have got an 8-game ban for getting kicked in the head. By the way, you wouldn't have been surprised to have seen Porteous getting red carded for headbutting somebody's foot in that sort of situation.
But would Porteous have got red carded for kicking the head the player as well, though? possibly, aye.
Aye. And Joanne said, last one, said, if you could sign just one of the loanees, who would it be? Fish, Yuan, Egan Riley, or Kukovic?
Oh, Egan Riley.
Aye.
Yeah.
But I would say Yuan. I like
Would
him.
you?
Aye. I
Frustrates
like,
me.
So I know, and it's that sort of thing that can frustrate you that I like about him. It's just that sort of maverick, just fucking tries things. Frustrating 1 minute and then brilliant the next, which
Tries
is
the wrong
good to
thing,
watch.
though.
Eh?
Tries the wrong thing too often.
You'll learn. It's just young.
Is he, what age is he?
20 something, early 20s.
No, not young.
That's young enough. Young to me. I'm
9
old
years
years
left.
away. Aye.
He's got 9 years left in his career.
Aye. Right, that's us out of time, overran a wee bit there. So it's great, some great talking points there. Thanks very much for sending them in. We're just now going to go and record extra time, and we will talk about whether or not we think we can finish third this season, given the gap between us and them is now just 5 points from the Gorgie Galacticos.
Amazing, isn't it?
A fucking mental way. But we're just talking about like sacking the manager earlier in the season and everything. But anyway, we shall discuss that in depth next. So tune in for that. If you want to subscribe, why wouldn't you? Go to our Twitter, click on our bio. There's a link there to take you to Hubwave. You can sign up there, £3 a month. You get all of our extra content and a warm, fuzzy feeling for knowing that you're supporting the podcast. Right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
County line I pledged upon. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.